If is a movie directed by John Krasinski and it stars Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski, Kaylee Fleming, Bill Hader, Matt Damon, Brad Pitt, Amy Schumer, George Clooney, Steve Carell, and many others. This movie has a ginormous cast. And yeah, it tells the story of this little girl. She's going through some rough times, and she starts seeing imaginary friends. Both she makes friends with them, but like these imaginary friends that she's starting to see are people, or there are other people's imaginary friends that have abandoned them. And yeah, there's that going on. And then of course you got Ryan Reynolds playing this girl's neighbor who can also see them. Anyways, what do I think of If? Well, I was looking forward to this movie. I was like, oh, sweet, John Krasinski's directing this. He directed A Quiet Place Parts 1 and 2. Both of those were fantastic films. And I was kind of curious to see what he would do with a kids' movie. And I gotta say, this movie was perfectly fine. I don't think it's one of the best films of the year or anything, but it's an enjoyable watch. It's very easy to sit through. It's a very easy watch. Kids will love it, and I think adults might get something out of it too. This movie is basically about like bringing out your inner child and retaining that youthful spirit, as you will. I thought all of the actors did a good job. Even like all the voice acting, and all the performances from the live cast, I thought were great. Everyone was good in this movie. I was even shocked that Amy Schumer was good in this movie. I fucking hate Amy Schumer, but she was good too. So, yeah, I'll give her some credit there. This movie was never cringe with its humor. I never cringed, so there's that. Even though this movie's not really like laugh out loud hilarious or anything. But there's a couple of decent chuckles here and there. Uh, yeah, what else could I say? It's just a perfectly serviceable film. I will say this movie is not entirely original, even though this movie's about imaginary friends. There isn't a whole lot of imagination in this movie. There's nothing like overly creative. Like there are some creative aspects to this movie, but overall, it's a pretty standard kids movie, pretty standard family comedy. That's definitely what I could say about If. There are far worse movies that are just like this, and I'm glad that this movie was. It's fine. It's perfectly okay. Stuff. It's definitely not one of the best films of the summer, but it's definitely not the worst either. It's not the worst movie I've seen this weekend, that's for sure. There's another movie I have a review recorded for that came out this weekend, and that movie was ass, thankfully. This was the bright spot of the weekend, even though the movie was just okay. If you have kids, take them to it. I'm pretty sure kids will fucking love this movie. There wasn't a whole lot of kids, surprisingly, in the theater when I saw this movie, but the few that there were, I noticed they were really having a good time with it. So, if you have kids, just want a family night out, you could do far worse than If. I am going to give If a B.